Storytime about how I unintentionally almost drowned my sister. So, a little background information: I was 8 years old and my sister was 5. And during the summer, my sister and I never really got to go swimming because pool memberships were really expensive and my family did not want to take us to a public pool. So, every summer we would go to my grandpa's house so that way we could go swimming. But he lived like 2 hours away, so we would only go there once a summer. And since we only got to go swimming this one time, we would usually be in the pool 24/7. So fast forward, we're all at my grandpa's house, and I finished my dinner first, so I run outside and I put my sister's floaties on because I'm pretty sure that mine actually popped. Now, quick thing, we were allowed to go into the pool without floaties on if we stayed in the shallow end of the pool because we couldn't swim. Anyway, so I put her floaties on and I go to the deep end, and she comes outside like a bat out of hell, and she starts screaming and crying. And being the big sister I am, I'm just swimming around, ignoring her, enjoying my time in the pool. Like for part 2. Part 2 about how I unintentionally almost drowned my sister. Like I said, I have her floaties on, I'm in the deep end of the pool, she's screaming at me, telling me to take them off, I'm ignoring her. And then what does her crazy decide to do? She decides to get into the pool and try and get them from me. Now, my sister was super tiny. Like, even being in the shallow end of the pool, she really couldn't stick her head above the water. Now, I'm pretty sure that all swimming pools are like this, but there's a slope that goes into the deep end, and it's super slippery. So she comes over to try and get the floaties from me, and then she slips. It was literally like a cartoon where the cartoon characters are moving their feet backwards really fast. And I thought that she was just joking around, so I'm just sitting there staring at her until she actually starts choking, and then my dad hurries up and runs outside, thank God. I feel like dads just have superpowers to know whenever their kids are in trouble. Anyway, so he jumps into the pool and he saves her. He ends up spraining his ankle, and I wasn't allowed in the pool for the rest of the weekend. Now, of course, this had me pretty pissed off, but now that I'm an adult, I can see.
I had to cut my best friend off of 7 years because she tried to steal my little sister. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, right? So let me explain. At the time, I was 15 years old in high school, and my little sister at the time was only 5 years old. I had the cutest little sister in the world. My mom would literally dress her up as a doll with the pink big dresses, matching pink bows in her hair, like completely over the top. And my little sister used to follow me around wherever I went. She was attached to my hip. My best friend at the time, let's call her Nikki, and my little sister, let's call her Amy. So Nikki loved Amy because Nikki had no siblings. She was the only child. So every time Nikki came over my house, she would play with my sister as if she was her mom and my sister was her daughter. It was so cringe. I never paid it no mind. I just thought that Nikki was just being kind-hearted, that she showed Amy so much attention. But it was too much attention. Like, she used to always put Amy on her lap, comb her hair, and even feed her. Like, she would literally spoon feed her. And mind you, my sister is 5 years old. She knows how to eat on her own. So over time, I would notice that my little sister started to cling on to me more and more, especially whenever Nikki was around. She would pull on my arm every time Nikki would call her name to come to her. So I asked my sister, "Why are you holding on to my arm?" And she whispered in my ear, "Please don't leave me." I was like, "Why do you not want to play with Nikki?" And she told me, "No, she's too rough with me. She hurts me." I was like, "What do you mean she hurts you?" And she wouldn't tell me how. But y'all, the look in my sister's eyes was of straight terror. My sister was scared for her life. So I decided to turn on immediately into my big sister role. I confronted Nikki. Stay tuned to find out what happened next. Part 2 of me cutting off my best friend of 7 years for trying to steal my little sister. Now that sounds crazy, me just saying that out loud. Jeez. So I confronted her. I asked her straight up. I was like, "What are you doing to my little sister?" Her face turned white like she'd seen a ghost. She was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "My sister is scared of you. She says that you are hurting her." She just started laughing and said with an attitude, "Be freaking for real. Your little sister is lying. She's a liar." I was like, "You know what? I don't think you should come to my house anymore because I don't trust you around my little sister." When I said that, Nikki started crying and screaming, saying, "How could you take my baby away from me?" I was like, baby, she is not your child, Nikki. She is my little sister. I truly knew at this point that Nikki was delulu, like she was cuckoo. Like, do your homework on delusional people. I was like, you got to go. So as I went to grab her arm, she snatched it from me and ran to the room and grabbed my sister. Like she picked up Amy like a rag doll and ran out the house. I was so shocked, but I ran after them. I'm chasing this girl all down the street while she's running with Amy in her arm. Amy is crying, Nikki is screaming, and I'm running faster than a Jamaican at the Olympics. And our neighbors was just watching, thinking we were playing. When the whole time this girl is trying to kidnap my sister. Yo, I ended up catching up to her. I reached my arm to grab her. I ended up grabbing her hair. Then both of them fell. So I punched Nikki in her face. I was trying to snap her back to reality. When the neighbors seen that we weren't playing, they broke us up. And from that moment, I had to cut Nikki off out of my life. And come to find out, Nikki was hurting my sister. But she called it disciplining her. Like, this girl really tried it.
Some of you need to stop worrying about who's talking on you and start worrying a little bit more about your boyfriend's girl best friend. I have never heard about a boyfriend having a girl best friend and it ending well for anyone except the girl best friend. And the boyfriend. Never ends well for the girlfriend. I'm saying this for you guys because my boyfriend's not even allowed to have a girl doctor, let alone a girl best friend. But seriously, when have you ever heard that like end well? A little story time. This girl that I was kind of friends with in high school, she had a boyfriend and they were dating for like 2 years. They're not together anymore and you guys will find out why. I'm like rushing my makeup right now because I gotta make it to my hair appointment. She was such a sweet girl and like she didn't even know at the time, but like her boyfriend and this girl were like exclusive. Obviously she knows now and that's why she's not with him, but that's also why he literally has a baby with her now. Like he has a baby with the girl best friend. As a guy though, like why do you want to be so close to a girl that's not your girlfriend? Unless in some really rare cases, which like I would know, if your girl best friend is literally almost like your sister, like you guys basically like grew up together. I have a guy best friend and he's in a relationship, but like he's literally like my brother. Like it's weird to think of it otherwise. Both of our partners literally have no problem with it because they know exactly like how close we are. But that's like a different case scenario. I'm talking about the girlies that want to smash your boyfriend and disguise themselves as the girl best friend. And you're like, where did they come from? Be careful. Like don't have too much trust in people. Okay, well, I'm off to my hair appointment. I can't wait for you guys to see what it looks like. Bye.